92.7 3 FM.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News on 3FM. My name is Beatrice Adu. The news is also live on Kazmi 107.1 FM and across the world at 3news.com. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Africa Center for Energy Policy (ACE) blames the loss of $190 million US Millennium Challenge Compact to the PDS scandal on political manipulations, as NDC flag bearer promises to hold persons involved accountable should he be re-elected. Also this afternoon, NDC party agents comply with directives from national leadership to record serial numbers of biometric verification registration kit being used for ongoing voter registration exercise, despite the Electoral Commission saying that the act could compromise the gadget. We are live in some of the registration centres. And later, also, Prempeh, the first international airport in Kumasi to be officially commissioned later this afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Mahama, has promised to ensure a thorough investigation of the PDS Power Distribution Services scandal to hold those involved accountable. His comments come as Ghana loses the $190 million US in grant meant for private sector participation in electricity distribution under the US Millennium Compact. The United States cancelled the grant in response to the Ghanaian government termination of a contract with Ghana Power Distribution Services (PDS), a consortium led by Philippine electricity company Meralco. There's more in the following report.
In a Facebook post, the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Mahama, promised to ensure a thorough investigation of the PDS scandal and hold those involved accountable should he win the December polls. The PDS concession was a key component of the Millennium Challenge Compact signed in 2014 between the Ghanaian government and the US Millennium Challenge Corporation. In 2017, after renegotiations with Millennium Challenge Corporation, the original arrangements to give 80% of the assets of the Electricity Company of Ghana to foreigners were changed to 51% ownership by Ghanaians and 49% to foreigners. This required the foreign bidders to find a local Ghanaian consortium to take up the 51% of their shareholding to make their bid whole. The concession agreement with Power Distribution Services was suspended on July 30, 2019 by government due to what it called fundamental and material breaches. The Electricity Company of Ghana was then again given full control of power distribution. Then Energy Minister John Peter Mills spoke with Pakwesi Sare explaining the reasons for the termination of the concession.
Decision to suspend the concession agreement between ECG and the PDS is as a result of some material evidence that seems to conclude that the payment security, which ought to have come from PDS, was not well executed and therefore being considered as fraudulently done. On that basis, government think it's important to quickly hold on the assets of Ghanaians, because don't forget, this is a major asset that we have transferred, and if such a fraudulent activities have been detected, it's proper government takes on action, and that's why government has taken this action to suspend the deal for now.
The opposition National Democratic Congress has always insisted that the PDS scandal was a grand scheme by government officials to appropriate the 51% Ghanaian shareholding in PDS for themselves. The party alleges that there have been some 1.5 billion cedis collected by PDS in electricity tariffs and other charges over the course of its operations from March to October 2019.
And that was a news desk report on the PDS. Some history there for you. As I told you, now the Millennium Challenge Corporation has closed Ghana's Millennium Challenge Compact with no immediate plans to work again in Ghana. John Mahama says the NDC will probe the issue and ensure all persons who had a hand in the botched deal are prosecuted. Meanwhile, the executive director for the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ASEP, says the $190 million loss is just the tip of the iceberg. And Benjamin Boache tweeted some hours ago, put on his X page, he said MEDA was a significant part of the problem. Ghana had to lose so much when it decided to subsume operational decisions under overt and covert political manipulation. $192 million is the tip of the iceberg. The totality of our loss is what we see in the power sector today. And then he added a mess. So that was the executive director of energy, ASEP Bemboache, in his expose there. I'm joined by energy analyst Kojo Yaoche, who is also a policy lead, petroleum and conservation energy at ASEP. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, Beatrice. Thanks for having me.
We've just read that post from your boss, Benjamin Boache, about his view in terms of the cost of this cancellation to us. Are you able to give us details of really what ASEP thinks as regards the total loss because of this?
Well, I mean, we have catalogued all the issues that transpired from the announcement of the compact right to the termination in a report that is available on our website. And in that report, we see that there is enough blame to go around for everyone, including MEDA, which Mr. Benboache has alluded to. So because we are not able to go forward with the concession arrangement, it means that we are losing that 190 million, which was supposed to support the concession arrangement. And what that means is that the problems that the concession was supposed to come and resolve, which is the financial and operational turnaround of PCE, remain unresolved. And some of the key problems have been the revenue inefficiency, revenue collection inefficiency, the technical problems that ECG has been facing. That was supposed to inject private capital to retool the distribution sector. Could not happen. And subsequently, it means that we are accumulating debt within the space. At the last count, we currently owe the value chain about some $1.3 billion that government would have to find some way to be able to assume these liabilities. These are non-payment for fuel, inability to recover the full revenue for the power that has been sold, among others. So the point he was really making is, if you take aside the 190 that would have been injected to sustain the concession arrangement, beyond that we've lost now, beyond that, there is also the problem that is persisting, that is causing us to lose more. And this is a trend that we see in the last few years, where annually we are having to, the budget has to assume debt obligations from the power sector to the tune of over $1.5 billion annually. So if you want to accumulate that from the time the PDS deal was cancelled to now, we are running into well over $8 billion of losses that we could have spent on other areas of the economy, on social spending, but we are just dumping into a power sector that has shown that it's not able to sustain itself.
Now, if you look at the post of Ben Boache, he's talking about political manipulation, which has led to these huge losses that we are talking about. But if you listen to the then Energy Minister, John Peter Amewu, and I'm just quoting him here, he said, material evidence proves, that was at the time he spoke to us, material evidence from this company, which mother company is Meralco, said proof payment security from PDS not well executed, giving off suspicions of fraudulent activities. If the then minister explained that was the reason for, at the time he called it suspension, how then would ASEP conclude that it's because of political manipulation?
Right. I mean, both statements are true, and I'll explain why. So PDS was supposed to provide some guarantees. Critical among this was a bank guarantee that would guarantee the investments that they are supposed to do to retool the distribution network when they come. So that did not happen. They had to vary that into an insurance guarantee. And that insurance guarantee upon the advice of LEADER, right? And mind you here, the composition of LEADER is the ministers from the economic sectors of the economy, Minister of Finance, Minister of Energy, and Minister of Trade, and all of they are on the board of LEADER. And the transaction advisors agreed for PDS to vary that bank guarantee into an insurance guarantee. And because of the timeline that was given within the time they provided the insurance guarantee and the transfer of the ECG's assets, there was not enough time to do enough due diligence and verification by ECG, who was the main party to the transaction agreement. And later we got to find out that those insurance guarantees are fraudulent. So the first point the former minister was making is true, that there are technical and material fraudulent activity, but who agreed to varying the requirement, the condition, the critical condition? It's MEDA and the transaction advisors to the government on the issue. And who is on MEDA's board? The same ministers who are part of government. So if Mr. Ben Boache says that there was government manipulation, that is true. If the minister also says that it's because of technical and fraudulent reasons, that is also true.
So just before we end our conversation, the former President John Mahama is saying that he would probe this and ensure that everybody involved is dealt with should he be given the nod in the December elections. Do you think that's the way to go?
No, we have always called for an investigation. In fact, if you read our report, we've done a really good work, and we would advise the former president to take a look at what we've done. We'll provide him enough information to make a judgment on what kind of investigation they want to do. We are open to see the corporates being punished, people who help the private sector to subvert the public interest being punished. So it's a welcome call, and we hope to see how it goes.
All right, we'll have to end it here. Thank you very much. And that was Kojo Yaoche. He is a policy lead, Petroleum and Conservation Energy at the African Center for Energy Policy, ASEP. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Now, agents of the opposition NDC say they are still recording serial numbers or biometric verification registration BVR kit currently being used for the ongoing limited voter registration exercise. The exercise has entered its fourth day, with the Commission resorting to offline mode of registration following network challenges. The NDC says that it will record serial numbers of the BVR kit despite concerns of possible compromise of the ongoing process by the Electoral Commission. The national chairman for the NDC, Johnson Asedun-Katia, gave a firm instruction to the party's agents across the country to demand and record the serial numbers with or without the approval of EC officials as an additional layer of ensuring transparency in the ongoing registration.
we wish to serve notice, and notice is hereby served, that NDC registration agents across the country will resist the EC's clandestine attempts aimed at diminishing transparency in the voter registration exercise. Let me emphasize that our agents must activate the party's high-tech application systems to transmit all serial numbers of BVR kits in their district and electoral areas to the National Elections and IT Directorate of the party, without the approval of the Electoral Commission. Let me use this opportunity to repeal our call to the Ghanaian population, particularly through the civil society organizations, chiefs, opinion leaders, leaders of faith-based organizations, etc., to join us to demand more transparency and fairness, which is a necessary precondition for peaceful elections. Anybody who is interested in peaceful elections must begin demanding transparency and fairness in the elections.
And you heard the chairman of the opposition and National Democratic Congress, Johnson Asiedun Katia, at that press conference yesterday, giving clear instructions to the agents of the party in these registration centers for the ongoing limited voter registration exercise. Noble Crosby Annan is monitoring the exercise again. He's in Accra as to whether or not the agents have been allowed to continue to record the details. We'll be speaking to him very shortly, but he's also had a conversation with an MPP agent to give us his view of what's happening. Let's listen to him and then we'll connect to Noble to give us the latest from the ground.
When we need it, we can get it. Because this time the system of the Electoral Commission, you can't hide anything from anybody. Just NDC is just exaggerating. I always tell people that from 2012, after the 2012 election, that the MPP took the matter to court. Since that time, a lot of reform have come. So, especially 2020 registration was the best. And that one has helped the commission. And as I'm talking to you, for commission to steal election for somebody, it's not easy on any part of any. In fact, any political party who would think that the commission can steal the election for you, you are just wasting your time.
Okay, so, but do you have the serial numbers?
We have it. We have it. In fact, until that conference, day one, they show us everything. So, I don't know whether the big men there, they don't get the reports from their people. If they indeed get the report from their people, that conference was not necessary. Yes.
Have they changed the kits since it began on Tuesday?
They have changed?
Have they changed the equipment since it began on Tuesday?
No, since we started, they haven't. The only thing they were doing is they want to work on the network and all that. After the machine, they have not changed. And if they change it, they will call we the leaders to go and take the new number. Any machine that they will bring it, they will call us to go and take it.
Thank you.
And you just heard that Noble Crosby Annan interacting with some party agents at the polling station where he's been. Crosby joins us live on the line now. Crosby, we just heard those agents there, but what's the situation on the ground where you are?
Well, it's been so far so good. They're still doing the process, doing the registration online. However, it is a little bit slow, but they've not migrated offline yet. The party agents are telling me that the process on day 4 Friday has been quite smooth. Apart from the slow pace of the exercise. They've also been talking about the biometric verification kits, the serial numbers that they have had access to already, although the EC says they cannot give it to any third party. So are these 5 district offices of the Electoral Commission are the old office of the EC? And I'm talking about IOSO Central, IOSO West, IOSO East, IOSO North, and then College Clotate District. The process has been smooth so far. Lots of first-time voters.
Hello? All right. right, I'm sorry. It looks like we've lost Noble Crosby Annan on the line, but certainly we'll reconnect to him later and bring you the latest from the ground in our subsequent bulletins. Now, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission says that it has saved over 198 million cedis as at the end of 2023 in its payroll monitoring exercise. The Chief Executive Officer of the Commission, Ben Arthur, says the Commission will be auditing the payroll of the education sector to rid ghost names. The payroll monitoring exercise began in April last year. More than 50 institutions have been audited to get rid of ghost names. Now, as of August last year, the Commission had saved over 2 million cedis revenue on government payroll, and by December, it has saved about 198 million cedis. The Chief Executive Officer of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission explained that the exercise will continue until the government payroll is cleansed.
We're going to go ahead and do the other regions. We're also doing it for civil service. We're going to do it for the education sector. For education sector, we started with the universities. And so far, we are completely through with 3 public universities. And in fact, you don't hear qualms, you don't hear agitations on it, simply because we continue to engage the major stakeholders. Our findings will first go to the management of those institutions to take the appropriate action.
What are the findings telling you?
I'm coming. It is when they have failed to take the appropriate action that Fair Wages want to take the extra step. For the particular findings per institutions, I am not well able to put it on air because we must first communicate it to management for them to take the appropriate action. But I must be very sincere that in this country, we need to up our game as public sector workers. There are areas that we are not too happy with people who are not reporting to work and we're still taking pay. There are areas that we are not too happy with the way people are applying the vehicle maintenance allowance.
And you heard that Ben Arthur, he's the CEO of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. Director of Communications at the Coalition of Concerned Teachers Ghana, Adokwe Awulekwe, joins us on the line for a conversation on this. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to all your listeners.
What would you say has been the level of engagement between the Commission and the teacher unions as far as this audit we are talking about is concerned?
Thank you very much. We have never had any formal engagement with the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission on this so-called audit that they want to do. As a matter of fact, we've been going through a whole lot of audits. And you could even hear that recently the Office of the Special Prosecutor also came in to do some audits, starting from the Northern region, where some more than 2,000 teachers were taken off the payroll, and later they have to be brought back. Just last month, the audit service is also going around doing audits. You have to bring your Kana card, your appointment letter, and they are also doing it. So we are not perturbed if the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission will also go around being another agency of government. The only thing we are worried about is the multiplicity of it, that this agency will come and do it, another government agency will come and do it, then there's a third one, now OSP is even doing it. So we are not getting them. It is just a waste of government money. That is what we are seeing. Why can't they collaborate? And so that when the audit service just come through to come and do their audit, they are still in the process of finishing. But they will do it, OSP will do it, now Fair Wages and Salaries Commission will also come and do it, GES itself will also come and do it. So we are not perturbed about that.
So for you fully support this idea, but there should be a concerted effort, not individual organizations doing this. That's what you're saying.
That 1, 2, you'll be there and then they will call you, bring all your documents, and then you bring them, the OSP is coming, you bring all your documents. Ghana Education Service will also come and pick their data. Just recently, after OSP, Audit Service is also doing it. They have not even finished. And now Fair Wages and Salaries Commission is also going to do it. So we see it as a waste of resources.
All right.
But we are not perturbed if at the end of the day they say they have ghosts.
what we are worried about is that you have a whole lot of people under agencies of government. When you go to especially under the Ministry of Education, go to GES, you have different spokespersons for different programs of GES, different spokespersons for different programs under Ministry of Education, and technical assistant here and there. Those are the people that we should look at, not the ordinary teacher who is in the classroom teaching, going up and down, and doing whatever he's supposed to do, rather than those spokespersons and technical assistants and advisors who are sitting in the offices not doing anything. They should rather go there and chase them, and then they can save some money for the government.
We'll have to end it here. Thank you very much. And that was Director of Communications at the Coalition of Concerned Teachers, Ghana, Adukwe Awule. Thank you for speaking to us now to the Ashanti region, where the Kumasi Airport, known as Prempeh, the first international airport, is set to be commissioned by the President, Nana Akufo-Addo. And the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II later this afternoon. Work on the project began in June 2018 and was expected to be completed in 24 months. However, the 124 million euro facility suffered delay due to financial constraints. But the airport is now ready for international flights with the capacity to handle 800,000 passengers per annum and 200 passengers every hour. Let's go to Kumasi, where our reporter Ibrahim Abubakar is at the commissioning grounds to find out some more about this. Ibrahim, for starters, describe to us the edifice and what you've been able to see so far.
Well, currently you move inside. They have a clinic in there. We have 2 boarding bridges, which we didn't have before, and then VIP and VVIP lounges. Then we have the meet and greet area. Currently, because the project is officially yet to be commissioned, they are not allowing us inside to see exactly what's going on. But earlier, before today, we had the privilege of entering. These are some of the things we found here. And it's just an excitement for the people of Kumasi. You know, even the thought of making Kumasi an international airport came as excitement to most of them. So when the project delayed, people had to complain a lot. And finally, we are seeing the commissioning. So now they do not have to move all the way to Accra to travel to board a plane when they are traveling outside the country, but we'll have to do it here.
Ibrahim, I'm seeing the pictures on Facebook. Very beautiful indeed. But talk to us about the buzz. I mean, you've just mentioned how people are excited about it, but beyond that, really, what more you can tell us as regards what they're saying? Hello, Ibrahim. All right. It seems we've lost him there again. You're still here on the Midday News on 3FM, but you heard Ibrahim Abubakar. He's our correspondent in the Ashanti region at the commissioning of the Kumasi Airport, International Airport. And that's how we end the news here on 3FM, our top stories. African Center for Energy Policy blames the loss of 190 million Millennium Compact Challenge Compact dollar to the PDS scandal on political manipulations. We brought you some analysis. Also, NDC party agents comply with directives from national leadership to record serial numbers or biometric verification registration kit being used for ongoing voter registration, despite the Electoral Commission saying the act could compromise the gadget. We just heard Ibrahim Abubakar also bringing us update from the Kumasi International Airport as it gets commissioned today. My name is Beatrice Adu. Thank you very much for joining us today. Log on to 3news.com for more news. Have a good afternoon.
I just want to tell my mom that I love her. You know, she's been a great mom.
Sunday, the 12th of May is the day set aside to celebrate Mother's Day. TV3 and 3FM 92.7 gives you the chance to make it memorable for Mama with the exclusive event Dining with Mama at the plush Tomrick Hotel, East Legon from 1 p.m. Time to celebrate your incredible mothers and mother figures. Win great prizes while enjoying delicious food and drinks, live band music, artiste performances, and games.
FM 92.7, Urban Lifestyle Radio Station.
Hello, good afternoon. It's time for Business Daily. Coming up, Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA fears prices of goods and services will continue to be high, questioning sustainability of declining inflation.
If the dollar or the forex still go up, it means that it's going to affect prices of goods and services.
Meanwhile, Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry calls for favorable policy rates amid declining inflation to stimulate businesses.
We would prefer that in order not to increase the already high interest rates, at least the central bank should maintain it at its level.
And Millennium Challenge Corporation halts $190 million compact for Ghana's energy sector over botched 20-year concession agreement with PDS. We'll bring you details. I am Bismarck Kausa. These stories and others lined up for you. Stay with me. Thanks for your company. Now to our very first story. The Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, says despite the decline in inflation, prices of goods and services will continue to be high. Inflation for the month of April declined to 25% from 25.8% in March this year. But speaking to 3 Business, President of GUTA, Joseph Obin, fears this trend cannot be sustained following continuous depreciation of the cedi.
We need to stabilize the local currency. That's the major push factor of inflation. So now that the inflation depreciation is still going up, the exchange rate going up, it means that we are unsure whether we are going to sustain this gain when the other factors still remain the same. Yeah, I don't know whether this is significant enough to affect positively the monetary policy rates, where normally businesses expect that it comes down so that cost of borrowing will come down. But as I'm saying, our major problem is how this gain will be sustained or even improved downwards because of the problem of the cedi. The depreciation of the cedi is still going to counter this gain, and that I don't see that this is going to be sustained at all. And that's my only fear, because if the dollar or the forex still go up, it means that it's going to affect prices of goods and services, which is going to take any gain that this drop of inflation is going to have.
And that was President of Ghana Union of Traders Association, Joseph Obin. In a related development, the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, GNCCI, is pressing on the Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana for a favorable policy rate. The committee is expected to commence review of the developments in the economy and subsequently announce its latest key lending rate at its 118th meeting before end of May 2024. It is against this backdrop that the Chief Executive of the GNCCI, Mark Bedua-Waji, says, following the decline in inflation for the month of April, the central bank should at least maintain the policy rate to stimulate businesses.
Our fear is that looking at what is currently going on in the economy, with the depreciation of the cedi, the increase in utility prices, the increase in fares, the policy rates may go up, looking at its impact on inflation. But we'll appreciate it if at least it remain the same level rather than increasing it, because we don't think that it will go down. It will have to either remain the same or go up. We would prefer that in order not to increase the already high interest rates, at least the central bank should maintain it at its level as it is and not to increase it further. I think all the policies that we are implementing now are all sort of increasing the inflation rate. If you have an environment where we depend largely on imported commodities, the city is depreciating, it feeds into an imported inflation. We have also seen that food prices are going down. So food inflation is also going. That is good. We need to enhance that and ensure. But if you look at the basket of inflation, a chunk of it is related to food.
And that was Chief Executive of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, GNCCI, Mark Bedu-Abuaje. Now, an economist has observed the current economic challenges, such as high inflation and power outages facing Ghana, make it difficult for businesses in the country to plan. This volatile economic climate, Dr. Theo Ichiampong warns, is strangling competition, a vital force in keeping prices down for consumers.
If you're still at 23, 24 or so percent, and other countries that you're competing with in the sub-region are doing inflation below 10%, and they've got a stable exchange rate, and they don't have to deal with issues of doomsday, that means that they cannot plan, or for a whole day, the factory is not producing, then there's nothing, whatsoever you can do to try to sort of translate that into growth. Particularly for Ghana, there are deeper structural issues that need to be addressed. I do concede that as compared to 2022, when inflation was like 54% and the city was all over the place, things are relatively much better. But then Ghana is not an island. You're competing with other nations for these investments. So it's better to have more and have more competition to drive down price.
And that was economist Dr. Theo Ichiampong. The Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, has addressed concerns raised in a recent publication about the electronic VAT system, revealing that electronic invoicing has helped increase revenue by 124 million cedis and EVAT by 32%. The GRA has assured Ghanaians that the EVAT rollout is progressing smoothly through a phased approach. The following 3 Business News Desk report has more. The EVAT is an electronic means of issuing VAT receipts or an electronic invoice. According to the GRA, electronic invoicing contributed significantly, accounting for 124 million cedis of the increase. The project is being rolled out in phases, with the current phase being the first, focusing on large taxpayers from April 22 to May 31, 2024. Onboarding them is exceeding targets by 175%. These large taxpayers contribute 80% of VAT. The second phase, which targets medium and small taxpayers, is to be onboarded by December 2024, while the third and final phase will onboard all remaining VAT-registered taxpayers and be integrated. EVAT is to increase VAT contributions, reduce tax evasion, and enhance transparency in tax administration. The GRA has assured it remains committed to a swift and comprehensive EVAT implementation. And that will be all for business. For more business stories, please log on to 3news.com. Urban Blend continues with Black Rasta. Do stay.